What's poppin', May Gang? Today we're going to be talking about how to make the 4-way throw mix-up work as Season 2 May. Now, in case you're unaware of what the hell I'm talking about, the 4-way throw mix-up is basically a setup created by our mayGun lament, which allows you to enforce unreactable mix-ups from all sides of the opponent. Your bread and butter option is to go for an unreactable left versus right mix-up with your J2H, which beats every reversal, every attack, and every grab except for bike and parry, goddammit. You also have the option of going for a cross-up low with your 2K, which I guarantee you is going to hit at least once per round. And worst of all for the opponent, you could always just go for an overhead kiss instead, which you have to take a massive risk to stop you from doing. Oh, by the way, real quick, I've been trying to grow my May coaching empire. Been coaching people from floor 7 to floor 10 to Celestial. It's all going really well. People are really satisfied. If you want help improving your May after the patch, because I know you might be watched now, reach me at Discord, Twitter, or by email, please. I'm waiting for someone to fucking email me an offer. Also, it's paid, but don't let it deter you, please. Anyway, let's get right back into the content. So, what changed exactly? Well, the devs thought it'd be real fucking funny to add landing lag to the J2H. So now a lot of our setups are broken, and our old block strings are pretty bad too. In particular, now we can't do J2H miss into overhead kiss because it can get grabbed and deep, which really sucks. But we now have a setup that can actually compensate for this. So the setup you're supposed to use now is that you take a micro step backwards, then you instant air dash at your opponent and miss a JH. And then after you do this, you do an overhead kiss and it'll be a grab and DP on wake up. I'm sure some of you are thinking that the walk back is just a good cue for the opponent to know overhead kiss is coming, but you can still do a safe jump off of this with your JH, so I wouldn't worry too much about this. On top of that, if you want to do something ambiguous, you can still do a cross-up overhead kiss, which is basically unreactable to the opponent. Our block pressure has changed quite a bit too because of the landing lag changes, because now the opponent can mash out of our dashes after they block the J2H, especially if they do an FD, they're going to have a lot of time. But there is a silver lining to this, in that now we can actually set up our 5k counter hits pretty reliably here, because if we condition the opponent to expect a dash, we can do a delay 5k into 6H and get our pretty good mid-screen damage going. And if you're not doing any mashing, well, you can just do dash overhead kiss, dash 2k, quite a lot of options here that are very nice. But what if the opponent is trying to mash you out of the overhead kiss setups I talked about earlier? Well, this is actually where another buff comes in, where the 2k can now combo into 6h on counter hit. So you're able to set this up with overhead kiss conditioning. Here's a new 2k combo to try out if you're interested. Actually, speaking of combos, our J2H combos have improved and gotten worse at the exact same time. Because basically now, if you hit a same side J2H, you can always combo into 2k 2D, which is not hard to confirm, and even if you can't, well, 2D is safe on block. So now you get a really nice loopable pressure. The main problem though is comboing off of the cross-up J2H, because you can't just do 5k 3k anymore because it doesn't lead to as nice of a knockdown. So depending on the character, you can still combo into 2k 2D, and let me just scroll all the characters on the screen right now. You could go in the description to read it. But for the characters you can't do this combo on, to be honest, I think for the time being I'm just going to do 5k 3k and go for a 5k meaty. Really sucks, but you know, it is what it is. Oh yeah, random unsolicited tip. If you're having a hard time doing the cross-up J2H, take a micro step forward before doing your jump forward, because I find this makes it almost always cross up, but there's still a chance it won't cross up, so it's not actually as much of a visual cue as you think it would be. But it's helped me a lot, so I always do this now. Let's move on to how this mix-up works in the corner, because we never actually talked about it before, and it's changed quite a bit. So the way it worked for me last patch is that I would either go for a J2H safe jump, which almost never actually hit the opponent, but it forces them to block and we get pressure, or we can go for a low versus strike mix-up with 2k and overhead kiss, which was really effective, although there are probably better setups out there. But because of the fact we set up that overhead kiss with the J2H whiff, now we get thrown out of it, so we need a new setup to use here. Now the solution to this one is pretty simple, you just have to do a JH whiff instead of a J2H. The big problem though is that it's not actually auto-timed, it's incredibly close. You need to delay by like a small smidge now to get your overhead kiss to be grab. But otherwise you can just continue to do your 2k, or your overhead kiss is just a little tighter now, which kinda sucks, but you know, it's still there. But if the opponent is spamming wake up grab and for some reason you can't beat it because I feel you on that, try doing a JK whiff into a backdash into a charge dust. It works way more than you think it would, and it gets really nice damage, and it tells them to stop fucking throwing. Anyway, subscribe, get coached, doom in the comments down below. Talk to you soon, bye bye.